Night, should we tell them? All right. YouTube, your booger's showing. Stay tuned. All right, welcome everyone. I'm sorry I'm late. To be quite honest, I actually totally forgot about this dude. Um, so let's talk about Booga, and not your boogers, just Booga. Uh, and actually, I expected him to be King Booga, but whatever. This is a demon. He is definitely a debuffer, and his whole shtick is about his dastardly schemes, which is pulls one enemy up to three spaces closer and enables enemy selflessness for 3 turns. Yes, that's right. You can have a unit protect your team from the opposite side. It does work in PvP, but it has some caveats, and honestly, I don't know them all. So I can't really go into them into great details. But for 3 turns, you cannot. The enemy selflessness will not be dispelled, at least currently. Um, and so the dastardly scheme does work. The unit will defend just like a selfless unit does. Um, and honestly, it can be annoying. But the weird thing is, Booga doesn't do an awful lot of damage. He does a lot of debuff. So if it's a 1v1 remaining basically with Booga, um, then you may find that Booga just won't be able to beat it. And I just don't know enough about his GVG AI. I didn't have him, I didn't see him very much. To really tell you if he uses Dastardly Scheme a lot, I think he uses Boo Breath a lot. So, from a PvP standpoint, there are some uses, yes, definitely. But he is definitely a PvE king. Um, and just because you could use the Dastardly Scheme to basically, um, pick an enemy, drag it to you, have the boss kill it for you, try to rinse and repeat as much as possible. That definitely can happen. And is honestly is a very, very, very good PvE. Boo Breath is the next one. Deals major breath damage to all enemies and often 60%. Greatly lowers attack for 3 turns. Greatly lowering attack is fantastic. The only thing that really stinks is most of the units in the game have very high defense against lowering attack, aka the heroes that most people use in PvP. But that is the only really big negative here. And the last one, uh, Boogie Woogie Breath deals moderate bang damage to one enemy 5 times and rarely binds. Can't really say too much. It's nice with the 5 damage. Great to go against Anlusha. Um, and that's kind of the one big thing here is I do like that 5 times, even though it's just one, because of the fact they can take out a pretty impactful unit if you want to play some counter tactics overall. So for people who do a lot of PvP, there is good reason to have Booga, mostly just to uh, play some weird things around with units. But on top of that, you can do some. I'm not going to say large damage, but you can definitely, and it's breath damage, by the way. Uh, you could definitely do some pretty interesting things overall. First Awakening skill is kind of important for him. When HP is less than 70%, you recover 50% max HP and activate or breath 1.5x for 1 turn. The reason why it's important is if your first hit doesn't take 50% off, it reactivates its intrinsic. The intrinsic is at 100% HP. Damage will be halved. So in PvP, first of all, it's halved, then you get another 30%. That's 65% damage reduction for the very first hit. And once you get down to 70%, you basically get to do it again. And if you're building a healing team around Booga, Booga can actually be one heck of a tank. But it's kind of weird to build one, but it can be done. Especially with the breath. If you do the breath healer, I can't remember her name. I think it's time out, but that one on top of it is can be used. It is a very annoying. It isn't very high damaging one. Basically, it's something that you would use in real time arena. But honestly, I know the meta is try to get in and out of battles as quickly as possible. And that's why Booga is on the list, but isn't really used because Booga's more of a delay tactic than anything else. For instances, for second and third, 30%. A third one is 15% HP recovery, very very nice. And fifth one is max HP 100. Honestly, you're more worried about high defense with Booga, and even high agility because you may want to try to use your dastardly scheme as quickly as possible. Its leadership effect increases breath power by 15%. A lot of Japanese sites are like, it's a really good leadership effect, especially if you're going with the breath team. You can use Booga with a lot of heroes and use him as leader if you want to have his breath power increased, because his weight at 50 is actually pretty economical. And that's where he gets a little bit better. His stats aren't horrible, but they're not great. His HP is really boosted by his last 5th activation at 1396. MP 526, attack 351, defense 413, agility 496, which is actually where you want it. You want him to have high agility because that dastardly scheme is kind of important for you to really use that first if possible. His movement is only 2, so sometimes, depending on the battle, you're going to want to put high HP or high defense on him because you're going to use Booga as more of a scare tactic if there is a larger range of movement depending on the field. So that is very important for Booga. Teachable skills, sweet breath, nothing else really to say here. Giving him additional sleep for all the debuffs that he does is really, really dangerous. His preferred weapon is going to be the Booga Pearls. Booga, 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 yeah. His breath power plus 4% is perfect. It gives agility. Honestly, shooting for agility is probably the best. I've already seen 1 or 2 pictures of agility, all 3 spots. That is probably the optimal for her or for him. But you could also go with Boo Breath or Boogie Breath as well, depending on how many times you get to roll it. But I would focus more on agility for Booga because you'll probably use that more often than not. Finally, with the pros cons pulls, the enemy selflessness can't be canceled in the current form of the game, and I just can't apply it there. But he is not a broken unit. And as I say, I haven't seen it, so I don't have the greatest understanding of Booga, but I did pull him with the free tickets, so I will try and play with him a little bit later, but first I gotta level him up and all that jazz. So I'm releasing this right now. If I find some big things that I can do with him in the next couple of days, I will post a very quick video stating, hey, but right now, I put him as not a huge reason to pull, just mostly because the DQ5 hero is about to come out. And I personally think Princess and Lucia is just way too good if you don't have her already, if you're still trying to get pulls. His HP full, when his HP is full, damage will be halved, which is really pretty busted. And honestly, he might be the best PvE unit for really, really hard battles because of his attack down, with his enemy selflessness. People are going to go, hey, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I still think he is, if not the best, he's probably in the top 5. He can cheese some PvE. So if you don't care about PvP at all and only care about the PvE in this game, which most of the people, they're more on the PvP side. If you care about the PvE, I highly suggest you go for that right now. If not, otherwise, I would say wait and for the DQ5 hero. All right, now for Token Taker. Very interesting unit. Very highly randomized, and I could see this unit being used a lot more often for GVG, especially on defenses. High speed spin greatly increases move for 1 turn. It's an okay skill. Bonus heal and bonus attack are very interesting as they either will heal moderate HP for 1 ally and 40% chance to raise physical spell material breath. It's a very random unit for the increase, and very rarely 20%, might even be 10%. Raises tension for 1 turn. Pretty interesting heal along with the bonus attack, which deals major martial damage and can 40% lower physical spell, martial, or breath resist for 3 turns, and very rarely raises damage taken for 3 turns. It can be very random, and for GVG, I swear it's either going to go really, really good or really, really bad. There's no in between. Otherwise, this will be a mildly frustrating unit because you won't always get the heal increase that you want or the tact decrease that you want. But all in all, this still has potential use. Its stats are pretty good. Martial attack means you don't care about the attack stat, so it has pretty good HP, decent defense, and good agility. The MP is plenty to enough where you're really looking for at 410 if you get all 5. If you only got 1 or 2, the HP might be a little bit of a problem. But in all honesty, with getting bonus attack to level 10, you should still be able to get about 4 to 5 in. So, all in all, I would definitely say not too much of an issue. The last thing is that it has the intrinsic ability to have a 40% chance, I think, or no, rarely, but it has a chance to attack twice. And so a token taker is completely random. Being able to attack twice, though, does, and with the 3rd and 5th, increases the replay activation rate by 10. I think it finishes at 40%, so it should be rarely at 20% plus 10 plus 10 is 40. Yes, that's what it is. And so if you get it maxed out, the MP is pretty high, along with the ability to attack twice, or to, do things twice, I should say, because it's a replay. It is very, very, very random unit that could be incredibly overpowered or incredibly underwhelming depending on your luck. So there may be some strats using the token taker that requires the luck on turn 1 in order for you to do what you need to do, and that can be really frustrating, I understand, but that's what these units are designed to do. So, all in all, it's a banner that has very interesting units. I'm holding out to DQ5. That should be coming out in about 7 to 8 days. Maybe a little later than that. But it'll be coming out relatively soon. I may take Token Taker as an A golden unit, but we shall see. But more importantly, have a great day. I hope you guys enjoy, and